Let's talk about this book. So what do we got going on over here?
Yeah, so that's my manuscript. The
ACL rehab.
Yeah, it's the
Nice.
complete guide of ACL rehab. So, the
The
book.
Bible.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be a little bit smaller, but ACL rehab is something I'm really passionate about, right?
Chapter 1, snap it. Chapter 2, fix it.
Exactly. Something I'm really passionate about, and it's really for parent, coaches, and athletes. I'm not writing this for the medical community whatsoever. There's plenty of textbook on that already, but there's a need for, again, parents.
Practical information that
Exactly.
people can actually
for
use.
someone to actually, it's readable. So my focus on this was, how do we simplify medical information
Right.
and make it very easy to read, and then give a clear step-by-step, here's what happened day one when you tear your ACL all the way to the end.
Is it based on post surgery, or is it
So we went over
options?
all the way from pre-op.
Okay.
As soon as you tear it, what do you need to do? What kind of grafts are available
Right.
for you
Yeah, that was
to
the other question I was going to go with.
for you to choose from.
'Cause I use my patella.
Yep. And then
Which my pain sucked apparently. Was
And
the
then you
worst
can.
thing to do.
Well, there's
I think it was my surgeon too. I think he botched it.
yeah. So there's so many different factors, but all we're trying to do is take all the overwhelming information that's on Google and WebMD, and then
WebMD.
put it together in a text that people can read with pictures and step-by-step instruction on what to do. And then we even have an exclusive video library for parents and coaches and athletes to follow through. Like, hey, your week one exercise should be like this. And this is a guideline. This is what it's meant
Could
for.
someone do, outside of obviously doing the surgery themselves, in an extreme case, could someone come out of surgery and just go through this book and have successful
Will they have to go to
rehab?
physical therapy?
I would highly recommend they go to physical therapy.
Okay.
Again,
Really, the book's not the alternative.
no, it's not. It's not. And the book is to, again, to help my peers as physical therapists, for parents to understand that, hey, your kid's not going to go back to playing sport in 6 months just because their little cousin did the same thing. And it has a lot of research just showing hey, the sweet spot for people to go back is 10 to 12 months. And here's some testing that they need to pass, right? So it's break down those information and set expectations. That's my whole point. I don't want people to come in
That's
and
the biggest thing.
I need them. Adrian Peterson did this in 6 months and broke the Russian yards. My son Timmy, who is
It's just as good as
5'5".
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, 5'5". I think we can do the same thing. Again, it's creating expectation, but also having the parents face the reality, right? It's going back to again, knowing your kids, knowing yourself, right?
I think that these type of things are needed. They're very much needed because, again, if you go on WebMD, you're going to overdiagnose yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It happens all the time. I do it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I really am dying, right? Why why the ACL specifically? Let me ask you that.
So
Or do you have other ones coming out?
no, I mean, ACL is my passion, and
That's weird. Like, why ACL?
The-
Not PCL?
yeah. So it's very common now
Right.
than back then, and is a career-ending injury. So as soon as you tore your ACL, you need at least a year to get back, and it's also the most challenging, the most fun for me.
Okay.
So usually when athletes come in with an ACL tear, again, going back to the identity crisis that they have because they're no longer who they are because that identity of being an athlete being taken away from them. So we kind of my team and I get a chance to really, again, build them from the ground up, give them an opportunity to talk to them, to really mentor them in a way while we're doing some rehab, and just showing them hey, maybe try some other stuff too while you're doing this, and it gave them a fresh look at life where this is the first time that God kind of gave you an opportunity to have an off season.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. It's time to take up some new hobbies. No one's on your back. Your coach is not texting you. You don't have to put that pressure on yourself that your teammates are counting on you, because there's really nothing you can do but focus on yourself.
Right.
And it's the first time that you truly have that quiet moment to yourself, and you have to face your own music in a way, and then really figure out like, all right, what am I gonna do? And it gave them a glimpse of like, okay, what am I made of, right? It's the biggest obstacle that any athlete have to go through. So that's the biggest thing. That's number one. There's a lot of biological, but also mental stuff that play when it comes to ACL rehab. Towards the tail end of ACL is no longer biological. It's more mental. How much do you trust yourself? Your body just betray you. Do you trust it again, right? So to sum it up, there's a lot of redemption that go into ACL rehab, and I just love everything about that. You know, obviously, speaking from my own experience, like moving here, growing up as an immigrant, there's always some sort of redemption for me. Each day is a day to attack something, right? You know, every Monday I tell my wife, all right, let's go slay a dragon. There's gotta be something, right? And you know, I just feel connected with all my athletes that go through that. I personally have not torn it myself, but I know what it's like to be at the bottom. I know what it's like to like be in that dark place, and like, you know, let's just find our way back together. Let's just figure this out, and then at the end you'll come out stronger. You know, just like, you know, the phoenix rising from the ashes again. So, and to another point, it's probably the most misinformed injury. If you go right now, there'll be 10 articles that say you can go back at 6 months. There'll be another 8 articles say you're not healed until 2 years, right? So where is it? And ACL rehab keep me active, man. Like I'm running, I'm chasing, like I'm literally training just to be able to like sprint, like with my athlete, like doing foot race, doing all contact drill, playing soccer with them, like, you know, and it's just the most rewarding and the funnest thing to do.